Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It's hard to believe that tonight's finally here. Engagement happened about 2 years ago, and I mean, time just flies. And honestly, tonight is truly, truly an honor for all of you, of course, to have the opportunity to listen to me speak tonight. Can we please give a round of applause to Mr. and Mrs. Tiedekin, mom and dad, and of course, the bride and groom. Molly looks incredible this evening. I feel that she deserves a tall, strong, beautiful man, but Molly, of course, in life, we don't always get what we deserve, so as a matter of fact, when I first met Molly, I was a lot younger than I'm 24, I'm a lot younger than I was now, and a lot younger, a lot more naive, a lot more ambitious. I was like, what is she doing with a guy like Orcel? I was like, I figured she should be with someone like me, and I figured that it was only a matter of time that she'd end up with my last name. And so, it's funny how things turn out in life. But in all seriousness, this entire weekend has been perfect. Thank you guys so much. And again, we owe you guys one more round of applause. So everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Vonik. And for those of you who don't know me and can't read, I'm his little brother, Vonik Kunga. I met Orcel, hard to believe, 24 years ago, and when we first met each other, the first thing we had in common was our dislike of each other. We used to yell, argue, scream, throw things at each other, physically, verbally, I mean, all of the above. And like when he got pissed, he literally got so pissed. And speaking about pissed or pissing, it seems like that's something that has followed him all into his college years and his entire adult life. But we've always had an underlying bond that went beyond being just brothers. Little things as mundane as our parents, when we were younger, just fitting us in the exact same clothes. They would fit me and then try their best to find clothes that would fit him. Anytime anything ever happened to me, I'd be there as his backup. He'd be my backup. When I was sick in elementary school, he would stay home because mom and dad had to work and they had to pay the bills, and he was always there. When he got in a fight in the first, I don't even know if you remember this, the first circle of CTC, you and Tamir, I was right there, 4 feet tall, as your backup, ready to square up with anyone. When I got the accident in the train station, I mean, you can always try to relate to someone, but it's kind of hard when you don't have someone that comes from the exact same past as you do. Moving from state to state, country to country, city to city, you name it. He was someone that always knew what we went through, whether it was just trying to fit in, being surrounded by the poorest of them, the most affluent. He's been pushing us further. And it's being right here, right now, is a true testament to all of the work that he's put in, a true meritocracy, something kind of like sports, like that we both relate to, something we both love. And speaking of sports, like there's two stories I want to share. The first is one of my favorite sports personalities is Shannon Sharp. He is a Hall of Fame tight end. He's one of the 400 men in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Since the 1920s, there's been 23,000 people that played pro football, and he's one of 400, literally 1%. Now he has his own talk show. He has his own podcast, and he often talks about growing up in a difficult situation And the two people he looked up to were his grandmother and his older brother, Sterling. And as a matter of fact, during his Hall of Fame acceptance speech, he said something along the lines of being the only person in the Hall of Fame that was the second best athlete in his own family. And that's because of the person he was chasing, Sterling. The other story is back in like the 1940s, 50s, I don't know, a long time ago, most physiologists thought that it was impossible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. And then on May 6th, 3 days till his birthday, but in like 1950, a medical student, 25 years old, actually crossed the 4-minute threshold. And then a couple days later, another person crossed the 4-minute threshold. And at the next international competition, 4 others ran a mile in under 4 minutes. And that first person was Roger Bannister. And I'm telling you these stories just because, for me, Orcel, without knowing, has always been my Sterling Sharp. He's been my Roger Bannister, pushing us further than we've ever known. The first one to go to school here, Brimhall, Delcroft, Archmere, go to college, find a significant other, get a dog, buy a home, all these things that we never thought were fathomable, but all made possible by him. And it's crazy to think of the first house we lived in at 1258 Gibbs Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota. Literally a living room no bigger than my parents' bedroom right now, to literally the hall that we're sitting in right now. It's unbelievable. And what's awesome is that you were able to find someone to do it with. Explore the world, travel, spend eternity together. And I wish I could offer you guys like some great relationship advice. However, my longest relationship was 6 days long. So, but if there's anything I can tell you guys is that just do what you guys have kept doing. Every time I see you guys, long distance relationships, multiple breakups, just being good people to each other, that's honestly all it takes. And so without further ado, I'll bring this to a closing by saying that thank you guys so much for bringing everyone together. The hope, optimism, and opportunities you guys all have are fueled by sacrifices that hopefully you will never have to make. And I'm sure that you'll do the same for those who follow. Cheers. Thank you.